Isaiah 30 verse 2. That walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Shalom. All praises, blessings, glories, and honors to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahushai Bahashim, Racha Kodash. Double honors to my apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth, as well as men of like mind. Shalom wa chasad, which means peace and mercy, to the elect of the nation of Israel, whom are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of the sea line of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. To you I say Shalom, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ratazah. This lesson is edifying. Lord's willing, you brothers and few sisters can hear me clearly enough, as there's a lot going on in the background. I'm by the waters. The spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai just came upon me to do this lesson. Lord's willing, it is edifying. Now we are beginning to see the patience of Esau, Edom, run thin. Now we are beginning to see them transition on a more rapid and draconian scale from lockdowns to lockouts. And now 2/3 of the nation of Israel, who have placed their wholehearted trust in Pharaoh and in the shadows of Egypt, are now seeing that this man is in fact nothing more than the devil that he is according to the scriptures. That is Esau, Edom, the wicked, according to the book of Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. And now our people are in a state of confusion, because the same man who they had wholeheartedly so-called voted for, which the word vote means to vow, who they had vowed for, now they're seeing that he is in fact the devil, and that he is not for their own well-beings, because they thought simply because he had given them gifts in the form of these different stimuluses and all these different things, they had felt that he was for them. But in all actuality, Esau, Edom is not for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. He is not for the nation of Israel. He is only for his own and for their New Lord agenda, beginning with their hegemony. And that is why the Lord said here in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3, for when they shall say, when these different governors and the president himself and mayors and city councilors are going to say peace and safety, when they're going to tell you people that everything's okay to take this jab, this, that, and the third, take this venom, then what's going to happen? Then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Why? Because you're going to start seeing people dropping dead eventually. And not only that, but they will also suffer from the four kinds that the Lord Yahweh through his son Yahushai will appoint over them during the times of Jacob's trouble, written of here in the book of Jeremiah chapter 15 Verse 3, and I will appoint over them 4 kinds, saith the Lord Yahweh, the sword to slay. And who is the sword? Let's find out. Psalms chapter 17, verse 13, arise, O Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked. And who is the wicked? The wicked, according to Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, is Esau, Edom. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished. Malachi chapter 1 verse 4. But we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the what? The border of wickedness. And the people against whom the Lord Yahweh hath indignation, which means righteous anger, forever. And so now we know who the wicked is to those out there that hadn't previously. And so now, back here in Psalm chapter 17, verse 13, it says, deliver my soul from the wicked, who is Esau, Edom, which is thy sword. And so Esau, Edom, the wicked, is the sword of Yahweh through his son Yahushai. And their blessing was and is the sword, which comes in the form of your modern day gun, in the form of your pistols, your assault rifles, your rocket launchers, so on and so forth. And ultimately, those ICBM nuclear missiles. Okay? Because a sword is an instrument of cruelty. And this is one of the 4 kinds that the Lord will appoint over the sinners of his people, which say that the evil shall not overtake nor prevent them. Because right now they're comfortable, but now they're beginning to gradually see that they were wrong for placing their complete trust in this man and his system. So reading on in Jeremiah chapter 15 verse 4, and I will appoint over them 4 kinds, save the Lord Yahweh, the sword to slay and the dogs to tear. You're going to have wild dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, apex fowls like the harpy eagle, the raven, to tear, and the beast of the earth, your lions, your tigers, your leopards, so on and so forth, to devour and destroy. And this, all these things are what is going to come upon 2/3 of the nation of Israel, who have been promised peace and safety in the society, but very soon sudden destruction is going to come, and they will all be caught off guard, man. And they shall die of grievous deaths. Jeremiah chapter 16 verse 4, they shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried, but they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth. And they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, because there's going to be a famine out here as well. What is famine? A famine is a lack of bread. There will be no victuals out here, because a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Because every man is going to be seeking for food, water, for shelter, for their own well-beings, respectively. And their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven, which is one of the 4 kinds, as we had read about in Jeremiah chapter 15 verse 4, and for the beast of the earth. And all these things are coming upon 2/3 of the nation of Israel, who have placed their wholehearted trust in Pharaoh and in Egypt. Look on social media, you see a lot of Israelites saying, "Oh no, we didn't, we missed Trump. We shouldn't have voted for Joe Biden." Why? Because now they're in a state of confusion. Now they're ashamed because they realize that this man was never for their well-beings. See, Esau, he speaks with smooth words, man, just so he can get what he wants. But deep within his heart, deep within his mind, he is devising ways on how to overthrow the nation of Israel. That is why the Lord said this in the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, the 12th chapter, the 10th verse, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, Yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. And now our people are seeing that on a greater scale. They're seeing that this man is in fact, the enemy, the wicked. Set him not by thee, lest when he had overthrown thee, you stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. Because these devils, they pretty much want to replace us, because they want the birthright. They want the birthright back, but they can't get it because it was never theirs to begin with, even before the foundation of the world. Because that's just the way the Most High had set everything up. This is the Most High's script. This is the Most High's movie. Lest he seek to take thy seat, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beast? Because these Edomites, the wicked, they're that serpent that our people love to charm it, that love to play with. And now they've been bitten, they're getting bitten. And now they're complaining and hollering, crying. And shall we pity them? No, because they've been warned time and time again by the prophets, to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, on down to men of like mind that are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great and abroad, warning them to repent, forsake their evil ways, and return back to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua with fear and trembling. But they refuse to hearken, they refuse to take heed. That's why they're gonna, reap the fruits of their own ways, man. Or any such as come nigh a wild beast. Because Esau Edom, he's the ultimate beast of the field, which is the world. So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? Straight to the point, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood, because Esau Edom has a very insatiable nature. They can never be satisfied, man. So we won't pity 2/3 of the nation of Israel when the Lord begins to increase judgments upon them in the form of having them lose their livelihoods, having them lose their homes, and just be destitute of the basic necessities of life, such as having a roof over their heads, money in their pockets, food to eat, so on and so forth, man. Sirach chapter 14 verse 7, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness, because he is the wicked, he can never do right. His soul which is lifted up within him is not upright. So now let's go back to the book of Isaiah, the 30th chapter, and finish off. Isaiah chapter 30 verse 1, woe to the rebellious children. Who is the rebellious children? 2/3 of the nation of Israel. Saith the Lord Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, because they're covering with the covering of the Esau Edom. They're covering with the covering of democracy, Hinduism, and ultimately idolatry, Christianity, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, which is what? Iniquity. What is sin? 1 John chapter 3 verse 4. Sin is transgression of the laws of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. That walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked in my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. And that's what our people have done by voting for Pharaoh. Oh, Joe Biden is going to be our savior. He's gonna put things back in its rightful order, so-called. How foolish and hypocritical of 2/3, man. That's why they're gonna be in despair and in confusion. That strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt, because America is modern day Egypt, according to the book of Revelation chapter 11 verse 8. because America habituates and reflects the ancient manners and customs of ancient Egypt. And also, that shadow represents the protection that America provides in the form of its military, its police forces, its National Guard, its finances, its policies, its lawless laws that are really unrighteous decrees, which empower Queen of Heaven worship and idolatries, sodomism. Because this is what our people love. They love to indulge themselves in wickedness. And then they become comfortable. That's what the Lord said, Joshua waxed fat and kicked. They shine, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Now, how is it going to be their ultimate confusion? Their demise through thermonuclear fire. Okay, so with that, Lord's willing, this lesson was edifying, straight to the point. The Wadi Yahweh Shem Yahushua for putting the spirit upon me to do this lesson, to edify the elect. Lord's willing, it was edifying to the sheep. Until the next Lord's willing, I say Shalom.